Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Today, we're talking about something many of us can relate to, balancing career, love, and family. Aww. Ayesha Curry recently shared how she postponed her professional goals to start a family early in life, marrying Steph Curry at 22 and becoming a mom just a month later. This conversation is about more than celebrity. It's about the choices we make and the opportunities we sometimes put on hold. Let's unpack how to honor your ambitions while still building the life you want. As our executive producer would say, we have the best queens in the world here to have this conversation. I am Dr. LaNée Javette. I am joined by, let me see if I can do it right. Dang it. Nomalanga, mother, marriage, and
money making.
Thank you. Miss Black Hollywood. Also Karma J. And we have Dr. Sabrina. I don't know what Dr. Sabrina does again. But Shalaye Camillo, CEO of Vital Source Realty. Hey, none of the stuff is back there.
Just say their names.
I'm like, oh, what do you do? Okay, anyway. So we're here going to have this conversation. Ayesha Curry has consistently, repeatedly gone viral for having conversations about her husband, Steph Curry. And so if you're not familiar with it, we're going to show the video and then we're going to have a conversation about why does this keep happening? I have my own opinions, but I'm going to save them until after we watch the video. If you are just tuning in, say hello to us in the chat and tell us what you think.
Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
It's so hard also to be the woman in a situation where you're like, men just don't get as much scrutiny. Like they can maybe tell him like your fucking shots suck tonight, but like the looks and all of that is just like not a factor of conversation as much.
No.
Did you talk to Steph about it? Like, or did you kind of keep it within yourself so it didn't?
I do not have a bone in my body that can keep anything to myself. So if it comes to mind, it's coming out. And he's so gracious. Like he tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, it's not true. So why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real. After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something and then it kind of just disappeared and I didn't think twice about it. But after my daughter turned 1, I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
If I have a career and I'm
Yeah.
not home, like did you experience that?
I still experience
Okay.
that. I still experience that. I'm always in therapy talking about this. If you lose all of those things that were interesting about you.
Oh my God. She sounds so ungrateful. She goes viral all the time because people feel as if she's competing with Steph. I don't necessarily know if I think she's competing with Steph as much as I feel like she feels she was shortchanged and she didn't get to live her best life. And I feel like, man, just get a clue. Like, you got the money, hire a nanny and go do it. But let's see what everybody else thinks. Nomalanga, when you watch that clip of that video, what are your thoughts? What do you think about her commentary?
It's hard to say because I don't know what her background is. Like, I don't know if she grew up in a nuclear family with mom, dad, or she just, didn't grow up in a family and then ended up in one. But I will say, though, I do understand what she's saying in the sense that when you're 20, 21, 22, you don't really know what you want. And sometimes by the time you look up and know what you want, you have like 100
No,
kids.
she
Like,
said she did. No, she said she knew what she wanted. She absolutely knew what she wanted as far as her
no,
career
she
goes.
said at
She
some
said
point
she
she
did
said I was
not.
20.
As
I
far as her
didn't know what
career,
I
she said
wanted.
she already knew that she was going to be what kind of woman she was going to be. She was going to be a career woman. She already knew that.
She
She
didn't.
said
Yeah,
that.
but she
But
did
she said
say that
she
she didn't really know
didn't
what she
know.
wanted because I distinctly heard that and I understood what she meant because at my age now I understand that at 21 and 22 I didn't really know what I thought I knew. Having said that though, I think that she's trying to make it seem as if she missed out on something and she really didn't because being a mother, being a wife doesn't close you in a closet where you can't explore your own creativity and other things. It just means that you have to do it in a different way.
All right, Shalaye, what are your thoughts when you watch that clip?
My thoughts, she was so young. She was so young. And I think it's probably hard for her to be that young, want to be the career woman, but have this opportunity to marry her high school sweetheart who she loved and wanted to do that. But maybe she didn't realize what that life would have was really going to be like for her. And I think she felt kind of entrapped by it. And I don't know, this is her experience. I don't know why people are coming down so hard on her. I understand what she means. Like, she loves being a mom. I feel the same way. I love being a mom, but that's not all I want to be. And that's not all I want to do. So I think it's totally natural for some women to want that life or want to be a mom, but also want to be your own woman and want to feel fulfilled outside of motherhood. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think she needs to take a page out of Savannah's book. Like, stop embarrassing your husband every time you go out. Like, it's okay to feel that way. But you don't have to tell everybody every time you get a microphone in your face. Dr. Sabrina, what do you think about that commentary when you hear that?
So I don't really follow Ayesha Curry. So, I don't know what everybody is feeling about her, why she's getting all this backlash. I don't know. You just made a statement about her saying things every time she gets in front of a microphone. I can't speak to that because, as I say, I don't follow her. But what I will say is that I understand her perspective because I have felt the same way myself. And I think it just kind of depends on when things happen in your life and what you have done and where you are in your life. So for me, it was pushed. Marriage was something that was pushed. It was almost like, what's wrong with you? You're 25. You're not married. Is everything okay? That was just something that was pushed. Nobody really considered, those that were in my circle, that maybe I did want to do my own thing. Maybe I did have my own dreams and my own goals. So it wasn't that I just didn't want to be married. I mean, I'm trying to focus on other things. And so I can certainly relate because I was married when I was going through graduate school, and that was a whole issue. My husband was not in graduate school. He was in undergrad. It's a totally different life for a graduate student. you come in at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, he's looking at you like, where you been? Ain't nothing open this time of the morning but hotels and legs. Where you coming from? And I'm like, the lab. It's just different. So I can relate, Dr. LaNée. I don't know. Maybe it's just my lived experience. I can relate.
No, so from the perspective you're speaking on, I can relate. I understand that and I get the feeling. The difference is the means. She got means to have a nanny. She has means. She can go and still have a career. When we're talking about it from a nuclear standpoint, you got to go to work. You got to take care of your kids. You got to do all those things. She has the financial means to still go out and live her dreams. Tiara, what are your thoughts when you see that clip, when you hear that commentary?
Well, it's so funny because you keep saying, well, she sounds so ungrateful and she sounds like this and all of that. And I think that's kind of the issue. Like her just expressing it. All she's doing is expressing herself. She wasn't mean. She wasn't anything. She was just saying, this is my experience. And I'm in therapy and I'm constantly talking to my therapist about this thing that I feel. But when you're in it, it's hard to just be like Nomalanga said, about like not missing out. You don't know what you just feel like you're missing out. It doesn't matter if, because you're in the other position. So it feels like I'm missing out. I wanted to do this thing. I didn't want to be in my husband's shadow. When she was with her husband, she didn't know he was going to be Steph Curry. She thought, I'm going to marry this man and we're going to be together. But like she said, I got pregnant so fast, I couldn't even process what was happening in my life. And I think sometimes, if you had dreams for yourself and you had a baby or something happened, there's nothing wrong. It just simply sounds like she's mourning the life that she thought she was going to have out loud. And unfortunately, it's like, don't say it every time there's a mic in your face, but don't ask her. Well, maybe they should put that on the do not ask list for media.
Definitely, maybe they should.
But they asked her a question and she simply gave her perspective on it. And so I think it's so unfair to just say like, shut up about your experience. That's her. And if that's part of her mission, to just remind women that, hey, you don't have to just lay down and be a basketball wife. You can accomplish more. I wanted to do it. Maybe that's her sermon. Maybe she's helping other women consider whatever it is. I mean, you shake your head no, but what's wrong with it? What's wrong with that being the message? I don't
That's
get it.
one piece of it. So I actually have seen multiple of her interviews. And so one of her interviews, she says, I don't understand why he gets all of the fame. Nobody ever asks me any questions. So she has this competitive thing with Steph that comes off that sometimes like, you're his wife. Support him. Speak about him in a positive light. Be his mate. Now, to your point, they do put her in that position every time they get her in front of us. They don't ever ask her about anything. And Ayesha is successful in her own right. She has a podcast. She has she had a cooking show. She has her own utensils line. Like she has good stuff going on.
But I feel like
because people don't ask her about her stuff and they only ask about Steph, she always has something to say about why is it always him? How can nobody ever ask about me?
For sure, because I'm a successful woman. It's like people asking Kelly Rowland about Beyonce. It's like them asking Michelle and Kelly about Beyonce. Like, I'm here. I have my own success. Can you not understand that?
Now that part, if you get the Beyonce thing, I get it.
That's the vibe. That's what she's saying. She's not saying don't talk about my husband. It's just like, yeah, Steph. It's Steph. Steph has been in the league for 18 years. He's doing great. What about me? What about the moment I wanted to have?
Are you interested in me as a human? Like,
yes,
besides
I got my
me
own
being
thing.
its life.
I don't want to live in my husband's shadow. And I don't know. I just feel like she has a right to say what she wants to say. I mean,
everybody has a right to say what they want to say. I just feel like
it doesn't have to come
husband too. Okay, I think it's commercial. We're gonna keep coming back. We're gonna keep talking about this because this is interesting. Let us know in the chat, what do you think? And right now the conversation is Ayesha, right? But it could be just women in general. How do women deal with a successful mate and or putting yourself on the back burner so that your mate's career or dreams can flourish and bloom while yours might feel a little bit stagnant or put off? What does that mean? What does that do? Let's go to commercial. We're going to come back and keep having this conversation.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
Ooh, we love the comments. Thank you guys so much for chiming in and giving us your feedback. And while it's framed as Ayesha Curry and the Steph conversation, which has been happening for many years at this point, what we really want to talk about is women who postpone their career, right? The framing is Ayesha, but this is happening in real life, in real relationships, in real households, in real marriages, where women are postponing their goals and their dreams for the sake of a mate. And it could be either or. Right now we're talking about Ayesha, but men do it too. So I'm not just saying that it's a woman thing. There are some men whose wives are the breadwinners and they go on to do great things, and their careers are stifled. So it's not a sex thing as much as it is a professional thing. And so I'll ask each of you, have you ever, and I'll start with you, Shalaye, have you ever had to postpone your personal goals for a relationship or your family?
I didn't have to, well, okay, so I didn't have to postpone my personal goals for like a romantic relationship. I was my mom's caretaker. So I feel like most of my 20s was taking care of my mom. And I didn't really start living for me until I turned like 30. So in that way, I did feel like that. But also, I kind of started feeling like that when I turned 30 and I felt like, okay, I can breathe and I can go out and do the things that I've been wanting to do. Now I'm up against the time clock of motherhood. And so I definitely felt the pressure to, like, at some point, you know how when they say the ovaries is calling to you, I felt that, like, at some point where I was just like, oh my God, I want to have babies now. So it's hard. It's really challenging for women, and trying to balance both of that, wanting to be a mother or not wanting to be a mother, just like how society looks at you if you say you don't want a child. It's just like there's always some level of scrutiny. And so can't please
you can't win for losing. If you do, you're wrong. And if you don't, you're wrong too. Yeah. What about you, Dr. Sabrina? Did you have to postpone any personal goals for your relationship or family?
I wouldn't necessarily say postpone, but my situation was a little bit different. I literally got married one week and started graduate school like 2 weeks later. So there was not really a time when I just kind of had the time to really formulate a career outside of all of that. Because right after graduate school, I got pregnant. So I went from graduate school to having the title of mom. So in some regards, I did, because, when I became a mom, I took motherhood very seriously. Probably did it overboard, because at some points along the way, I lost me. And that's my experience. That's my truth. So when I hear people, react to Ayesha speaking her truth, that does kind of worry me as well, because I feel like we are allowed to have our own opinions about how different situations impact us. And I think it would be disingenuous for her to come, stand in front of the media and say things that were not true. Oh yeah, I love being a mother, and this has always been my dream. And, if that's not her truth. So I give people grace to express, you know, how they truly feel. It doesn't come across to me as being disingenuous or ungrateful or any of those things. It's just her truth. No different than me saying going straight from 4 years of graduate school to motherhood was, you know, a lot for me as well. That's my truth. Again, I don't not enjoy being a mother, but I certainly would have liked, you know, things to be a little bit. I wonder, I wonder what things would have been like had I been able to finish school, then focus solely on my career, and then at some future point add children to that mix. But you know, that wasn't my reality.
And that's not a lot of people's reality. So
Yeah.
Sherry, I think it is. Dr. LaNée seems envious. Ayesha Curry had certain means Dr. LaNée did not have when she started her career. Wealthy or not, Ayesha should be allowed to feel however she feels. She's human. Absolutely, she should be able to feel however she feels. Not a question. You should feel how you want to feel. Go to therapy, do all the things. You shouldn't make your husband look bad to do it. That's all I'm saying. Like, there are certain, when you're in the public in that way, there are certain responsibilities you have to your significant other. That's all. That's my point.
I think it's a soundbite, but I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, I've seen multiple videos. You guys are looking at one. I have seen multiple videos over the years of Ayesha having conversations about Steph that are cringeworthy. Like, oh, I can't believe you said that about your husband online. I can't believe, like, but again, not me, not my life. You know, I wouldn't do it. I can't say, you know, somebody else.
Steph is at home. Like, I love my wife.
See how sometimes she.
I was gonna say, how does she feel about it?
She does.
Say, okay, hold on. Everybody's talking at the same time. Say it again. Go ahead, Noma.
I was saying sometimes she does come off like a little bit bratty, you know. But again, nobody should stop her from saying what she wants to say, but she can't stop us from perceiving it the way we perceive it too.
Right.
So she does come off a little bratty sometimes, you know. And I think that's what people, because she gets a lot of pushback. I don't even know much about her, but every time I see her, people are outraged by something that she said. And to Dr. LaNée's point also is, I remember when Michelle Obama first when Barack Obama first became president, and they interviewed Mrs. Obama, and she was very careless. She was like, "Oh, I don't understand what the fuss is about. He leaves his socks on the floor." Well, they snatched her, boy. The whoever the PR people were, they got her in a room and they talked to her, and they said, "Listen, he's the president now. You can't just be saying whatever you know. You can have your thoughts, you can have your feelings, but he's the president, ma'am. Learn to talk about
how you care for, speak about, and protect your mate. To me,
so I understand that point. Yes,
that's just to me. That's not for everybody else. That's just for me. I would want to represent my spouse a particular way. Everybody doesn't have to. That's just me saying that. That's how I would do. Shalaye, what were you trying to say a minute ago?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this is the first I've really heard of her, like, being negative, and, you know, she's been around. I haven't heard any headlines about this, but again, I don't follow her either. But how does he feel about it? Is he upset by things that she's saying?
He's like, I love my wife, and we good at home. Like, it's not
I think he's letting her be a woman and express herself.
Soundbite, Shalaye.
Someone in the comments had said something about, one of us had said something about she has businesses, right? Yeah, but when you say the cooking line and the utensils and stuff, are those businesses she was pushed into because that goes along with her brand as a mother and a wife, or was that something that she wanted to do? You know,
I don't know. I think the cooking one was something that she wanted to do because she had a cooking show that reinforced the cooking line, and I think she has a love of cooking, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. But she seemed like she was really gung ho about that. Like she was showing up for it. She was talking about it, and it did pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Did she have? Has she ever said anything about what she wanted to do that she didn't get a chance to do, like what line of work or anything like that?
That part,
no.
I think she's doing all the things. I think she's just, again, mourning the idea of what she thought. She said, I was just gonna be a career girl. Like, that's what I thought I was gonna do with my life. But I got married. And again, like I said, there's sound bites because I have a whole nother part of this video where she says all the great things that they didn't play, that they didn't show, that they never do. Right. So you get these little and it's my spirit is boiling over because it's like it's one piece of it. It's a soundbite. I've been a journalist a very long time, and I understand what gets people going, and they do this because it's in brand to get her going. Nomalanga, I'm so glad you brought up Michelle Obama because I read her book, Becoming. I read her book, and the way she thought about like Barack, listen, you out here in these streets trying to do this political thing, but I'm at home with these kids. I want to be a lawyer. I'm a partner. Listen, I want to do what I want to do. Right. And him in pursuit, she was resentful for him. It's a real thing for women, especially if it's like, I didn't see myself at home with these two kids. And she was very, very much exactly saying what Ayesha is saying. But then
Thank
at
you.
some point, and then after he won the presidency, she was still like, "Oh, little Barack, like what are y'all talking?" I think that's the
But
energy.
when did she say it? After he was the president, she wrote the book and aired the laundry. Not while he was in the
they've been married
office.
for like 20 years. What are we talking about?
30.
No.
Yes.
I'm talking about
But-
Steph and Ayesha have been married for
Oh.
almost like 20
But
years.
while he
Like,
was in office, she did not air their dirty laundry. After he was the president, she wrote the book and told everything. She didn't say it while he was in office. Okay, wait. So I think we have to take commercial and then talk
Okay,
to
'cause I'm like, she did-
question. Let's go to our second commercial. We're gonna
All
come
right.
back. We're gonna keep this going.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Ayesha Curry is a perfect example of why it is so important to have a hoe phase. Go be a hoe. Be a hoe. But be a safe hoe though. Like, protect yourself and don't get pregnant. That's why she's sitting over there feeling trapped with Steph Curry. Sometimes you gotta go through some stuff to really appreciate what you have. She probably ain't never been hoed. She probably ain't never been drugged through the mud by a dude. She probably never had a heart broken time and time again. That's why she can't really appreciate what she has, because it's like, I need something edgy. I need something fun. Like this mom stuff. This being married to Steph Curry, this shit is boring. And now she's really rebelling. She want to be in the streets. She want to be desired by other men. She probably want to do something with another man because she probably never experienced that. Like, when did they get together? Like high school or something? That is not enough time to be out in the world and do stuff and experience stuff. Like, you don't have to experience a whole lot. But I don't think she experienced anything at all. And now she's tied down, married with kids. You can't go do your thing right now unless you go do your thing and run the risk. Like, you ain't just no Lucinda from down the block. You're Ayesha Curry. If you go mess with anybody, trust me, we gonna know about it.
I don't even know how that necessarily fits into the conversation, but okay. So I
Y'all
guess
will be no hoe.
saying go out and do other things before you get married instead of just being with somebody that's going to treat you good and right from the beginning. I don't necessarily agree with that. Nomalanga, what are your thoughts on that video?
I think Tiara could see my face while the video was going, and she said in the comments, "Noma, your face," because I said she started off with the whole thing, and I was, clutching my pearls, because no, oh my God,
Like, where do you even begin?
I know the amount of damage that kind of message can do to a young woman listening to that rubbish, that garbage. No, you don't have to be abused first and run through by
Traumatized.
several men and traumatized and all this other stuff to then get in your marriage and feel like, okay, this is great. No, actually, that isn't true. I think when I got married, I was 26, I think. I was pretty young, and I didn't have our first daughter until I was 28. And in the beginning, I did have that feeling because I was young, like, oh man, she's kind of stopping me from doing the things that I want to do and all of this. But then I had another child and put them in daycare, and then went and did my career and all of that. But then I realized that, you know what? What's the point of having a husband and kids and all you want to do is throw them away and chase a career? And then that's when I started to really become a life balance expert. You have to have balance in your life. You can't throw your whole family away and chase a career. You can't throw your career away and just be, and actually, to be honest, you can't actually. There are phases in your life where you do have to buckle down and just be a mom. They need you. But that's not the end of it. You go through past that phase and then you can open up a little bit more and explore more things. But no, we don't need trauma and hoeing and whatever else first before that is one of the worst things that I've ever heard about what we should be doing as women.
I agree. So I think what I'm getting at is what Jared put here. Feels like Steph's image has been pretty spotless except for his perpetually unhappy wife. That's kind of what I'm getting at is Steph doesn't have really any issues. The only thing they get him on is the unhappy wife thing. And yet, if she talks more about being all the good stuff she had going on, they wouldn't have as many issues. In the press, I'll say. Dr. Sabrina, how should couples, or what do you think I should say, couples negotiate career versus their family priorities? Because when you go into a situation like being an NBA wife, you kind of have to put the other person's priorities first. But how do you negotiate that? Should you say, hey, I'm going to do it for this while we have kids, and then I want to focus on my own career? Because I don't agree that it should just be about this person. Now, you definitely should have some stake and some desires and some wherewithal to go after your own goals and dreams. But how do you balance that? Or what kind of conversations should you have?
I think it depends on the couple, because what works for one couple may not, it's not like a cookie cutter formula. What works in my household may not be what works in someone else's household. So I think that really is an individual thing, how they decide to navigate that. Because there are points in people's career, just kind of depends on what the career trajectory is for the two individuals, where the focus may be on the husband's career. Point in case, there are a lot of quote unquote military wives who basically have had to go all over the world, with their husbands to support their career because that was the career that they chose and that worked for their family. Now, that may not have been what they wanted, and in some instances they were left behind with the sole responsibility for rearing the children. So I really think it depends on the couple how they choose to navigate those waters. But I do want to go back to Ayesha for just a moment, Dr. LaNée, because what I heard, I hear people saying she's tarnishing her husband's image in the media and this, that, and the other. My question, as I say, I don't follow her, so I don't really know. But my question is she calling press conferences and saying, okay, now that I have the press in front of me, this is what I have to say that is damaging about my husband? Or is she being put in situations where people are interviewing her and they're asking her questions about her opinions and how she feels about things? Because that's kind of different too. If you are intentionally going to the media and saying disparaging things versus somebody asking you your opinion. Somebody asks, well, how you feel today? I don't feel too good today. How you feel about your marriage today? Well, I feel good about my marriage, but this is how I feel about other things. So that will be the question that I have. we say she projects this negative image. How are people coming at her? Is this something she's initiating, or are people simply asking her opinion about things?
It's usually opinion. Yeah, she's not just out here online every day talking bad. That's not what's happening by any means. So Mike Nice says men sacrifice their happiness for their family. Women sacrifice their family for their happiness and still don't be happy. God, there's so much to break down in there, but like, I don't think that that's quite correct. And yet it is, right? And that is because women have to do what has to be done. Unfortunately, men get the opportunity to go out and follow their dreams and do all the things they want to do. And women have to take care of the household by any means necessary, whatever it takes. However, this child got to get back and forth to school, we got to do it. However, that man had to get that job, we got to take care of it. However, we have to do it. And so sometimes you don't have the blessing and the wherewithal to be happy and do it, because you just got to do it. But that's great that you have that opinion. Shalaye, how do you think those types of ideas and thoughts, societal expectations shape the choices that women have to make?
So they do. Unless you are a woman who has come into yourself as a woman and you're grounded and you know what you want and where you're going and how you need to get there, and you can just block out and have tunnel vision to all the other mess that's being said or going on, you will fall into those traps of expectations of what your family expects, of what society expects, of what your significant other expects. I mean, but what he said was women sacrifice their family for their happiness. Houseway.
It's definitely around, actually.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That was backwards. Most of the time, women sacrifice their happiness for their family. But, going back to what you were saying before, when should you, have these conversations? Definitely before you get married. But sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know the questions that you need to ask sometimes, especially when you're super young, like Ayesha and Stephen she was 22. She didn't know what to ask. She probably thought, I'm going into this and this is going to be great because I can still have my dream life and be a dream wife. She probably thought that. I don't think she went into it saying that, I'm going to be trapped and I'm going to feel this way. But the societal pressure, it's a real thing. And people just need to mind their business because relationships are a negotiation. And it really depends on those two individuals, what it is that they're going to negotiate. And I wholeheartedly think that women should go into these situations with the mindset of, okay, we need to negotiate. We need to negotiate before this gets really serious and we start walking down the aisle and creating a situation for the rest of our lives.
That's good. I like that. Tiara, how do you think that we right? So now we're kind of shifting from Ayesha Curry and Steph to just like men and women, right? How do we support partners in pursuing their careers without sacrificing our own?
We just have to be very, 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 very mindful, especially if you're with someone who has a traditional perspective of what a woman is supposed to be. So I'll use and I do want to come back to those 82 games that Steph plays in a minute, so for myself, right, I moved to Hollywood wanting and in pursuit of a career. And here in Hollywood, obviously the culture is not family. It's not being in a marriage. Everybody is hustling. And you look up and you blink and it's 20 years later and you're like, whoa, I've been out here for doing these things. So when I first got here, I was like, I don't want kids. I don't want no husband. I just want to, I'll Holly bury it if I want to have a baby and have a baby at 40 is what I said. And I ended up getting pregnant with Lauren, and her dad is very traditional. He is from Memphis. Like everybody is Southern. So it's like, well, what you're supposed to do now is this. And what you're supposed to do now is sacrifice for that. And I think that was our biggest issue for a very long time. Like me still wanting to hold on to some independence and just say, well, if I'm pregnant now, then I was in the middle of my life. I was doing television. I was doing theater. I was modeling. I was doing all the things when I got pregnant with Lauren. And immediately when I found out I was pregnant, in Tiara fashion, I said, well, I'll just maternity model. And the next day I was like, that's what we're going to do. Like I was just trying to hold on. After I had Lauren, 3 weeks after I had her, I was in a theater doing a show and she was in a car seat and that's where we was rolling, right? And we've been rolling ever since. So I think that it's important to just be mindful because I would have been miserable without it. I'd have been miserable without the pursuit of it because I would have felt what he wanted me to do would have required for me to sit down and maybe have a couple more babies and not pursue the things. And so I'll just say that. And just so I can pass the mic, I mean, you think about that, like you get into a situation and don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know if Steph was in the league when they were 22. I know that it's 17 years later, so maybe he was just getting in, but walking into a world that you have no idea, you don't know what that you got to be away for 82 games, right? You don't know that once y'all start having children, he's going to be away the majority of the time, and you're going to be responsible for holding the house down. Now, you said, yeah, you can just get a nanny. But then I don't think at the time she was like, let me get a nanny. She was like, let me hold it down, right? Let me be here with my children. Because if I'm not here and Steph is definitely not here, then they won't have no kids. The kids won't have parents if I'm trying to pursue and he's trying to pursue, right? So I think that women do. And I don't think it's talked about enough how much sometimes we sacrifice ourselves, our bodies, our ambitions, and we just kind of I will live for pickup and drop off and the kids' play dates and school dates. We live for that. And, I just don't. And then when the kids leave, you don't know who you are.
And
you sit around in the house in a
really,
boo trying to figure it out. Like, I'm not subscribing to none of that.
I'm not subscribing to that. Okay. So I think we have another commercial, if I'm not mistaken.
We got another, let's run a commercial.
And then we'll come back and do stats. All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
All right. Let's go to some of those nice stats that we have for y'all. Here we go.
Let me get Nomalanga back. All right, here we go.
All righty. According to a 2022 Pew Research study, 58% of women who married before 25 reported delaying career ambitions due to family responsibilities. A Harvard Business Review analysis found that women often take a 2 to 5 year career pause after having children, which can impact lifetime earnings by up to 37%. In dual income households, 43% of women report managing the majority of household duties, even while maintaining full-time careers, which affects professional growth. Only 22% of women in their early 20s feel fully prepared to balance career, family, and personal growth simultaneously. And so to go with what Tiara was just talking about, Africa Hot Custom says it seems like hypergamy on steroids at first glance, but it's just a woman wishing she had a life outside of being Steph Curry's wife. She actually says when you're young, you don't know what you want. And so let's go with Nomalanga. How do you think or feel women and or men, right now we're talking about a woman, should balance ambition with love? And let me preface that with this. I think I would say I took the ambition over love route, but it really wasn't ambition over love. I too didn't want to have kids when I was younger. I didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to get married. And so when I had my son, I just felt like that was the only thing I could do. I couldn't manage being a good mom and trying to have a relationship and do all the things. So I threw myself into being a mom and then threw myself into ambition. And now I'm kind of doing the love thing just because I felt like it was a lot to do, right? So how then would you say to a young person how to balance being ambitious but also wanting to have love and or family?
So this is a little bit controversial, but women are inherently not ambitious and driven like men. That we're just not. We're more nurturers, and it's it's not natural for us to be as ambitious as men. I'm not saying some women are not, and I'll give you a lot of examples. If you just look in the Black community, a lot of women are sick. They've got fibroids, they're overweight, they're overwhelmed, all of this other stuff. And usually it's because they're trying to do it all. And you just can't, you know. The unfortunate thing is sometimes you don't have a choice. You know, you are a mom and you have to work, you have to put food on the table and all that stuff. But I don't think that's the model that is ideal. You're supposed to have a partner. You're supposed to do it together. There's a reason why when you get married, you take his name and he doesn't take yours. It's because you're supposed to buy into his vision and what have you. Not that you totally kill your own dreams or kill whatever you were before you were him. But some of these things really are nature. And sometimes when you fight it, you end up with a lot of problems and a lot of sickness and a lot of dysfunction.
Okay. So, okay. Shalaye, what are your thoughts? I saw your face at first you're like,
I think it totally depends on the individual. I think that because we live in a society for centuries and centuries and who knows how long, it's patriarchal. And so we've been told that women aren't ambitious. We've been told that women are just supposed to be nurturers, which we are naturally, right? But there are women, many women, who have their own goals and dreams and ambitions and want to feel fulfilled as a person, as a human being. It has nothing to do with having a vagina or a penis. They just want to feel fulfilled, and they have things that they want to do just like men have things that they want to do. Yes, women take men's last names. That was the law. Who knows who implemented that? That was just what they did. And I do believe wholeheartedly that you should be partners. It should be a partnership. And again, it should be a negotiation and a conversation about what it is that I want to do with my life and how you are here to help me with my vision, and what it is that you want to do with your life and how I'm here to help you with your vision, and how are we going to do this together, because we both want each other to be happy. We both want each other to be fulfilled and feel loved and be able to give love, right? But you can't give love from a place where you're not feeling fulfilled. And the thing about women in sickness and everything like that, there are a lot of women who are struggling because they don't have that partner. Yes, and it does cause sickness. My mom went through the same thing. I believe that my mom got sick because having to do everything by herself, right? So you should not be without a partner if that's what you want. But also when coming together in a partnership, it's a partnership, and it's not just all about what one person wants. So Steph can be out there doing his thing, and I totally wholeheartedly agree. She should be out there supporting him, but also, and he seems like a very nice guy. Also pouring back into her, because she can't. I think it's very ridiculous to feel and believe that she should constantly be pouring into him just because he's the star. Well, he needs to pour back into her, and I think that from what I've seen, I don't follow them closely. From what I've seen, that is what he does.
Okay. I got to ask Dr. Sabrina, because you've been married for many years. You're our doctor. So you've pursued your dreams and you continue to have a relationship and be married to your husband. So how do you feel that people can follow their ambition and love at the same time, or have both? Is it possible? Can you do it both? Can you have it all?
Wasn't it Oprah that said something like, you can have it all, you just can't have it all
at the same time?
At the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, and that's true. There are times, and I use my life as an example. Not that others should necessarily follow this model, but I'm just sharing what we did. So after graduate school came the kids. My focus then was on my children. So a lot of the things that I did were with my children in mind. And I was very, very focused on my kids. I had sons. I don't have daughters. To me, I knew I had one shot to feed into them because I saw what was going on with Black men. And I knew that there were certain things that I wanted to instill in my Black sons. And so for me, in some regards, yes, I did sacrifice parts of my careers, but I think it was worth it because of the situation. Okay. Fast forward, once they got older, I actually remember even the first time my husband and I went on a vacation, just the two of us, and left them. You know, it was like really interesting from a relationship standpoint, just getting to know him again because, you know, hey, the kids are not here. We got to get to know each other again. But that's the way we did it. It was kind of, yeah, we wanted it all, but we could not necessarily have it all at the same time and not necessarily navigate that. And I see people making the comments, and I just want to address this about, you know, the fact that she's rich and she could get a nanny and this and that and the other. Even with all of that, that does not change the fact that you feel a certain way. Maybe you can. I'm not saying that she can't get nannies and this and that, but we don't know how she feels about that. And maybe she does have the nannies, but she still feels the same way that she feels. It doesn't take away her right to feel how she feels. And I'm not trying to defend her. I'm just saying we all have that. Apparently those that are actively engaged in the conversation today have feelings about certain things. But I mean, I don't think we should disregard other people's, their right to feel the way they feel about life.
Feel about life. We're going to go to our next video, and then we'll see you back here in a hot second.
Steph Curry, honey, sweetheart. You're married to a woman who's jealous of your success. She's jealous of the attention you get. She's jealous of your fame. Somehow in her mind, you have stuck her with this life of being a mom, which she never wanted, which she somewhat enjoys. Of course, she loves her children, but she was meant to be a career woman. She was meant to be a star. She was meant to get all the attention that you are getting. You were supposed to be a high school basketball coach. She was supposed to be. And in her mind, I think she resents you. Because in her mind, she's this beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, fabulous woman that should be out there getting all of this adoration and attention that you are getting. So while you out here making shoes and putting Bible verses on it, hitting 34 3 shots in a row, busting your ass, getting to the bag, taking care of your family, your wife is slowly but surely resenting you.
Again, the conversation is Steph and Ayesha, but what we're talking about is how this shows up in real life, in real relationships. And it's not one-dimensional. You have women who have successful husbands who feel like, dang, I should have did more. I didn't get my way. But it's also in reverse, where you have successful women who have husbands who feel like they put themselves on the line or didn't go after their dreams so that their wives could be successful. So this is not a Steph Curry and Ayesha conversation as much as it is, how do you balance wanting to have success and be ambitious and go after your dreams, but also have family, either as a wife or a husband, because it's in the world that we live in today. There's a couple that I follow online, and me and men have this conversation about this all the time. This woman, she's probably 7 figures, maybe at least 600,000, maybe 600 to $1 million. And he stays home and he makes all the content and he shows himself taking care of the house and doing all the laundry and doing all the things. And men be like, ain't no way I'm staying at the house, cleaning up, taking care of the kids. Yeah, because my woman is out working. Like we are living in a non-traditional world right now. Now, and the flip side of that is it doesn't even have to be that dramatic. It could just be a woman who makes good money with the man who's intimidated by it. Like we're living in a time where these conversations are valid to have, because if one person is uber successful, the other person might feel slighted. Like, how come I'm not getting the shine? And so go ahead, Norma. Give me your thoughts. What's the
her thought is rubbish. I know what you gotta say.
Rubbish, man. The folding clothes. Oh, Nancy, no.
There are relationships that work that way.
Listen, men and women are not the same. I think I've been saying this on social commentary for about 15 years, and we keep trying to squeeze them into being the same. I don't care what anybody says. When the man is successful and the woman has to fall back, yeah, sometimes you get resentful or whatever it is, but you try it the other way, he will outright sabotage you, because it's just not natural for him to fall back and let his wife kind of be the breadwinner and go through the most while he falls back and has a feather duster or whatever it is he's doing. It's just not natural. And I just don't like trying to pretend that because we say equality and we scream it out loud from the top of the building that somehow it's supposed to be. No, a man doesn't have a womb, and God made it that way, right? We have less testosterone. We're made a certain way, and we can't change it. Yeah, we can kind of meet in the middle a little bit. We're not in the 50s where it's like shut up and be pregnant and bake some cookies or something. We're moving into the middle a little bit, and we're becoming a little more flexible, but it doesn't change how we're made biologically and how we were really formed as human beings and what we do best. What we do best is what we do best, and you can't change that.
I don't disagree. I think it makes it a lot more complicated when the woman is the successful one and the man is not. More complicated, not that it can't happen, just more complicated. I think that when you have a man who is successful in his own right and living well and can provide, I think that at that moment, the woman has the right and the choice to say, I want to be a stay-at-home, or I also too want to pursue my goals and dreams and do what I want to do. We're going to go to our last commercial, and then we're going to come back and get our final thoughts.
It's an actual video, LaNée.
Huh?
It's an actual video. We'll go to a video.
What did I say?
How did you know you were ready for that?
I didn't. I just knew that I loved him, and I'd never experienced anything else. I'd never felt any differently than this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. You're pregnant and you're going to be very, very sick. But I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change a thing.
Did you like him at all? In your heart, you're like, oh, I wish I could.
I thought he was so cute.
On this first date,
yeah.
What are the vibes?
It was one of the best days of my life. Honestly, it was so innocent and young, and I wish I could relive that, or at least watch it from a bird's eye view. It was so cute. Just real young love. I don't know. I remember it like it was yesterday. I 100% said I love you first.
We just never get to see it. So let me just
What do we see?
We've seen her talking positive about her husband and saying she loved him, because y'all all get the
we saw her talking about when they was young and they had young love before he became somebody famous, and she had to put herself on the curb the shelf.
People ain't never heard
it. The woman in the comments is like, she's just jealous of him.
I know she's gonna see something phenomenal.
So I played something opposite of what she said, and it's like, yeah, right.
I just thought it was gonna be the opposite. She was just saying this is what happened when we was young. Tell me how you feel today.
She said I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's what
all the feelings. I sometimes I feel like I missed out all of that, but when it comes down to it, I wouldn't change it for the world. And I think we all eventually land there, oh, I wish this or I wish that, but man, I love my babies, I love my man, and I would not change it for the world. I think we all land there.
Hopefully
somehow.
That's the case. All right, so last question. This is our final thought. Here's our final thought. Dr. Sabrina, I'm going to start with you. What advice would you give a young woman who the question says, what advice would you give a young woman about setting boundaries between personal life and career? But I want to tweak it a little bit and say, what advice would you give a young woman who is at the edge of having to choose between her career and her ambitions? I'm sorry, her career and her family, or her ambitions and her family, her personal life and her career. Let's say it that way. What advice would you give to her? And then that's your final thought, and tell people where they can find you.
Okay, so where is she though in life? I need you to qualify that, because are we talking about somebody that's making a decision between marriage and a career, or someone who already is married and they're trying to make a decision about?
It doesn't say, so you can have freedom.
Okay, because that's a little bit different.
So that's that. You can say you can answer one or the other, and then we'll just go around like that.
Okay.
In 60 seconds.
Okay. So if it's someone who has not gotten married, I think clearly that person should work on themselves. I think work on yourself, become who you need to be, get to know yourself. And I think when you do that, you won't find yourself being the Ayesha Curry who is, 15, 16, 17 years into your marriage, or even being a Dr. Sabrina that's 30 years into your marriage, kind of saying, I'm thinking back on what this would have looked like if I had made some different decisions. So I think for me, that's my final thought on that. Don't be so quick to jump into marriage. Become who you need to be. Become the woman that you need to be. Become the man that you need to be before you do that. And then I think life will work a lot better for you moving forward. A lot of times you hear in these comments, it is from people who, like myself, did get married at younger ages. We're not necessarily saying we don't like, the state of being married, but we are saying sometimes we do wish and wonder what things would have been like had we made some different decisions. So I think it works both ways for all our men, women and men. Become who you need to be first, and then move forward with that relationship. That being said, I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds, closing contracts. I am so noted, so excited, and so delighted to be back on. This is my second time this week. I'm happy. I missed you guys. So happy to be here. Got to throw this plug. This is a National Estate Planning Awareness Month. If you have not done yours, my contact information is in the description below. Let's get it done. Life is fleeting. I want to help you. Blessings.
Thank you so much. First, Mike said, I just want to say I respect each individual woman on the panel, and then followed up with, oh shucks, men deserve more. I love it. Okay. Nomalanga, your final thought. What advice would you give a young woman who is at the pinnacle or the edge of having to make a decision between her personal life and career versus relationship? You're on mute, my love.
I was actually saying, can you keep me small while I say it? Because it'll be quick, but then I went big. I wanted to say that it's obvious to somebody who knows me that I would say choose family. Absolutely. Family is everything. I'm the founder of a program called Marriage, Motherhood, and Money Making, and I always emphasize that it's in that order. I just don't want women to think that you can kind of run around and do a career, and then when you're 40 and 50, you can have what a 25-year-old woman has. You can't. You don't have the same number of options. And I see too many women who get there and realize that, oh, I couldn't, So put your family first. And being a family woman, a wife, and a mother doesn't mean you can't pursue your other dreams. You just have to do it in such a way that you don't damage what you've already built. But if you ever ask me about family versus career, I would always say choose your family.
All right, cool. Shalaye, same question to you. What advice would you give a young woman who is at the place in her life where she has to choose between her career and family or relationship?
Yeah, that is tough to be at a place where you have to choose between your career and family or relationship. So I would say, being at the stage where I am right now and looking in hindsight, and I'm sure I'll have more hindsight later, but there will always be things that you want to do over, right? I feel like no matter what path, if I would have like really stuck and been like career focused, I probably would have had other things that I wish I could have done that. So we always do the best that we can do with the information that we have and the resources and opportunities that we have at the time, right? So we're always in that position, no matter where we are in life. Right now in life, we're doing the best we can. So what I would hope for a woman is that she is considering a partner who she can go to and have a heart to heart with and say, hey, these are the things that I really would love to do with my life. Can you be on board with my vision? Can we help each other in our visions? Because I really, this part of me really wants to be expressed in this lifetime. And I would love it if you would help me with that and support that. So I am Shalaye Camillo. I'm CEO and broker of Vital Source Realty here in Boston, Massachusetts, and I can help you buy or sell real estate anywhere in the United States. You can hit me up on IG and YouTube at Shalaye Camillo and visit my website at vitalsourcerealty.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shalaye. Miss Black Hollywood, what advice would you give to a young woman who is having to make a choice between her ambitions and her career, her career ambitions and her family or relationship? You're on mute before you start talking.
I would say, if you have the baby, if you have the baby and have the family young, if you start young, like Nomalanga is suggesting, when those children are older, you'll be able to, when they're young, put them on your hip and keep it moving. Like, I don't know. Like, I felt like I could have both. There has been a bit of a sacrifice that I've had to make on certain days. I have to negotiate what can happen and what can't happen, but I try to move things around. So I'll just say for me, telling her, like, don't stop moving on. Don't forget about yourself. I just think, yeah, you can have a family, but don't forget about yourself. Yes, you can have a career, but like, just don't forget about those things that are important to you. I think you never want to get to the end of your life and just regret or resent people around you. You can choose family and then resent your husband 30 years later. I mean, like, hate. I mean, like that can turn into a disdain. So just don't forget about yourself. With that being said, my name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood and Carmen J. I am a storyteller and all of the things. If you are interested in following me, I'm at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms. Or if you're interested in music, you can go to carmenjmusic.com. And yeah, that's where you can find me. This was good. And for the person that said I was combative today, somebody said I was combative. But I would like to say that
passionate.
I was passionate. I was passionate about this. I knew I was going to be passionate, like when I put it down. I think I was like, Ayesha, ooh, like I was passionate when I produced this one. So, it is what it is.
Listen, you said something a minute ago about you can do all that for your husband and whatnot, but what you didn't say was you can do all that and your husband still not be there, right? I'm gonna go Angela Bassett, waiting to exhale, sacrificing, doing all the things, and the person leaves and you left there with nothing. So this would be my advice. I had a son. Again, I did not want to have kids and I didn't want to get married, and I did have my son and I only had one. And in hindsight, I wish I would have had more. And the reason why I only had one was because I thought that it was going to take everything I had to be a good mom to that one. And so I didn't want to mess up and I didn't want to break him and all the good things. And in hindsight, if I would go back to somebody who has to choose between their family and their ambition, what I would say is not so much that you can have it all, but you don't have to give up yourself to have what you want to have, right? In hindsight, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have had more kids, because if you can do it for one, you can do it for two. And if you are in a relationship with somebody who loves you and they want to see you be, they want you to be the best you for them, then they want you to be happy and they want you to be self-sustained and fulfilled. And the right relationship will make space for you to do that. And so I would tell somebody, yes, choose the family and the relationship, but also choose yourself but also choose your ambition. It may take you longer to achieve it, but every day you're doing something that fulfills you and helps you to get closer to who you want to be and who you want to grow into for this person. I wouldn't necessarily tell a woman to be independent and you got to have your own money, you got to do your own things. Not that. But I would say be a good teammate, be a good partner, be a good supporter, work together towards the goals. Might it take you a little bit longer because you got to take care of the family and do it? Might, but you're still feeding yourself. I think what happens is when we start taking care of everybody else, we stop feeding us. And that's how you end up feeling like, well, why do they have all this? And why are they getting all that? It's because we stop feeding ourselves. So don't stop feeding you while feeding others. Happy house, happy spouse, or happy spouse, happy house. And I say that instead of happy wife, happy life. Happy spouse, happy house. Because man to woman, woman to man, it's a team effort. All right, that's my little thing. I don't have my outro in front of me. So what I'm going to say is we had a great conversation today. Although the topic was Ayesha and Steph, this is real life stuff that's happening in everybody's household. Not everybody, but a lot of folks' household where the man might be more successful than the woman and she feels a certain kind of way, or vice versa. The woman might be more successful than the man and he feels a certain kind of way. These conversations are necessary because we have to have better communication. We should be talking about these things as we're sitting around dating. How do you feel about this? What do you think about this? These are my career aspirations. How does that play? Like communication and roles and expectations are conversations that we need to be having in relationship, in dating, in marriage. Okay. This is Fly Nubian Money. I'm Dr. LaNée Javette. I was joined today by Tiara, Shalaye, Dr. Sabrina, Nomalanga. We do this every Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock p.m. If you want to be notified, you can text the word Queens to 87948. You can catch us on Spotify, or you can tune in right here on YouTube every day. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a blessed day. Stay Black and be one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You can be grateful and ambitious. You can be grateful and ambitious. You can be grateful for the world that you have and still want more. I think we need to begin to normalize the fact that women want more than what they have. And even though they love what they have, their children, if they're married, their husband, their partner, their house, their lifestyle, and still want more. You don't have to dull your ambition. Ayesha Curry mentioned on a recent podcast that she never wanted children. And I think that for even those of us who are obsessed with our children as we sit and as we stand, there was probably a point in time that we might not have necessarily seen the life that we have for ourselves in the future. And I think it should be okay that we express that. I think her delivery has been off in a series of different interviews that she's done, but I think that her not being satisfied with her life, I think is fair. First of all, the majority of us don't know what she walks into every night. Or she doesn't know how much Steph pays attention to her or her goals. And just because somebody pays your bills doesn't necessarily mean that they fulfill you. I think we need to give her room to explore the season of the life that she's in now. And I believe all of you deserve the same. There are plenty of people out here that have good lives from the outside, but are feeling unsatisfied. And I think as women, we need to give fellow women room to explore the season of the life that they are in and give them an opportunity to bitch and complain, to contemplate and change if they choose to do so. Two things can be true. I can be grateful for the life that I have and still want more, still have ambitions. I can love the person that I'm with and that person still not understand me fully. I think it's a sign of maturity to be able to recognize it. The next phase of that is learning how to communicate it. I think Alicia's having a hard time communicating it, but I do understand what she is going through. And I think more often than not, women out there are going through the same. You can be grateful for what you have and still want more. You can be grateful for the love that you have and still recognize it wasn't the life that you wanted, the life that you envisioned. Let's make the best of the lives that we have and give grace to individuals who are trying to figure out theirs.